I built everything on Origins, but every time this random timer went off, I had to do a challenge that made the game harder. To start off, I grabbed the first part to the Maxis drone, which was one of the many things that I needed to build. I also needed the gramophone and the disc, all 4 stabs, the shield, and to turn on all 6 generators. Basically everything that fills up this scoreboard so I could post a picture of it on Twitter, because that's what cool people do. Anyway, I turned on the first generator and grabbed my quick revive, and headed to generator 2. So far so good, the timer hadn't gone off yet. Once I got to Gen 2, I turned on the generator and then grabbed the first ice staff piece, which is the disc. I also got a hammer from the mystery box, which I was pretty happy about. But then I ended the round with my hammer and noticed that it started to snow, so I could get working on some of the ice staff parts. While I was looking for digs though, I stumbled across the first shield part and picked it up. But it actually turned out to be one of the worst decisions I could have made. That's because as I was running towards generator 3 to check for more dig spots, the random timer actually went off. Yes, I know it's an annoying sound, but now would be a good time to explain how these challenges are going to work. They're not going to be a typical zombies challenge like a knife only or something like that. They're going to be stuff that will hinder my ability to build everything. So for example, this first challenge, I actually rolled flipped around. Now that doesn't really seem like it would be a big deal, but if you remember, it was actually snowing. So I get to miss out on all the potential ice staff parts I could dig up because you can only get them when it snows. And I'm only giving myself 1 hour to build everything, so I need all the time I can get. So to continue, I flipped around and reset the challenge timer. But then something happened that I'd really never seen happen before. It actually stayed snowing 2 rounds in a row. I was so shocked, so I immediately went and dug up some dig spots and tried to get some more ice staff pieces. I also turned on generator 3 and just missed one of the wind staff parts from the robot's foot. I then grabbed the second shield part and opened up the excavation site to look for more ice staff parts. But unfortunately for me, I only found one because as I was digging, the last zombie actually bled out, and thus wasting another snow round. It's fine, I'll just get the ice staff later in the video. Anyway, I grabbed the last shield part and went on to build the shield, and that was officially the first buildable finish, crossing the shield off the list. And we were doing pretty good on time as well. I then went to turn on generator 4, and after I did that, the random challenge timer went off again. This time I rolled max FOV, so I jacked up my FOV, and oh my goodness, this is insane. When I tell you this was one of the most awkward and weird things that I've ever had to do when I was playing a video game, I really mean that. But it only had to be like this for 5 minutes. So I ended up grabbing Jug, the MP40, and missing a robot because it was impossible to see. But now that I was back to normal, I decided to go on a robot spree and get all the wind staff parts. I got 1, I got 2, and I got 3. I also grabbed the fire staff disc and another part to the Maxis drone. This was the scoreboard update where we were on round 6. Round 7 I didn't do anything, and then round 8 we got to the Panzer. And this dude's claw reach was long for some reason. Anyways, I took him out and grabbed the fire staff piece that he drops. And then the timer went off again. At this point, I felt like I was getting pretty unlucky, especially because I rolled open every dig site and it wasn't even snowing. So there went another wasted opportunity of getting some ice staff pieces. It was looking rough for the ice staff at this point. But while I was running around looking for digs, I ended up turning on generator 6 and generator 5 and buying stamina. And with that, all the generators were turned on, so that can get crossed off the list. I finished up opening all the dig sites, and then as I was on my way back to open up the excavation site, the timer went off again. And what's even crazier is I rolled lose all points when I was literally just about to buy a door that cost 2,250 points. Everything's fine though. So the way I got rid of all my points was basically just buy MP40 wall buy ammo, and there we go, 0 points. So I flipped around because I couldn't do anything, shot the fire staff plane and picked up its part, and then got lucky with an insta-kill double points and got all my points back. Then I unlocked the excavation site, found the black disc, and used the gramophone to unlock the basement, thus crossing these 2 off the list. After that, I decided to go build my first staff. So I grabbed the gramophone, found the wind disc, and headed through the wind tunnel. I grabbed the wind crystal and headed back down to actually build it. And there it was, the first staff of the game crafted at 38:14. We kind of had to pick up the pace, I'm not gonna lie, but we crossed it off the list. Moving on, I decided to go for the lightning staff next. So I got on the tank, jumped off at the first stop, and got the first piece. Then I rode the tank back around, got the second piece, and tried to get back on the tank, and I actually did. But then I failed the jump for the third piece, which is kind of embarrassing. So when I was waiting for the tank to reset, I grabbed the lightning disc, and then re-rode the tank and got the last piece. Then I went and got the lightning crystal, and then built it in the basement. Lightning staff completed. The next next thing I wanted to build was the Maxis drone, so I grabbed the final piece, but then as I was running to the buildable table, the timer went off again. This time I rolled minimum FOV, which sounds like it would be horrible, and it was! With the little bit that I could actually still see the game, I tried to locate the buildable table, and once I found it, I crafted the Maxis drone, crossing it off the list. At this point, I only needed to craft the fire staff and the ice staff, and we had about 10 minutes left. So I got digging because it was snowing, and the first 2 dig spots I checked, the ice staff parts appeared. Finally, some good luck on my side. I then grabbed the final fire staff piece, and all I needed was to grab the crystals of the 2 staffs from the crazy place. So first I grabbed the ice staff one, and then I grabbed the fire one. But what I didn't know in the moment is you can't hold 2 crystals at once. So right here, I basically just traded the ice crystal for the fire crystal. At this point, I'm walking back to the excavation site and thinking that I just beat the challenge. But when I got down there, I realized I could only build the fire staff and not the ice staff. So I crossed the fire staff off the list, but then started panicking because I only had 3 minutes left. I quickly ran back to the crazy place and got the ice crystal again, and came back down and crossed the ice staff off the list. And just like that, I had every buildable completed in Origins in under 1 hour. And I didn't even have to do the hardest challenge. Take that, wheel.